Animation is a collaborative effort. Whenever works of entertainment are discussed, people will rarely ever talk about the individuals who helped create and develop those works, especially for animation. In many cases, it's usually in mediums such as live-action TV shows and movies. Most often only the actors and maybe the director will be mentioned. This is obviously common among the casual consumer market. When it comes to the creator-consumer relationship, the consumer has no other obligations besides paying for the work, consuming it, and judging whether they like it or not. However, this doesn't make the lack of credibility any less frustrating for me. We often hear the phrase, give credit where credit is due. I feel it's appropriate that generally, most people would agree that if someone creates something, they should receive credit for doing so, whether it's in the field of science, literature, visual art, etc. However, when it comes to entertainment productions, this can get complicated. For any entertainment production, whenever the creator or creators are referred to, it's obvious that they are the ones who conceived the original idea of the work. However, outside of actors, there seems to be a misconception among many that the creators are the only people who matter regarding that work's creation. I'm sure most are aware, at least subconsciously, that many people work on a film, as evidenced by the long rows of credits that many people sit through just to get to the post-credit scenes in MCU movies. For movies, people will often look at the director and actors and discuss only them, though this isn't to say that this is invalid. Film directors do have the most creative influence in saying how a movie is developed and executed, and certain actors attract the eye of moviegoers, whether for their celebrity status and or performance reputation. But it's crucial to know that they are also working with an entire crew and team made up of multiple departments. Screenwriters, producers, unit production managers, digital technicians, stunt coordinators, stunt doubles, visual effects artists, production assistants, cinematographers, camera operators, camera assistants, sound designers, editors, set designers, casting directors, music composers, costume designers, makeup artists, etc. all contribute to the production of a film. All of these are key components to creating a film, not even counting the licensing negotiations with distribution companies, and the absence of any can significantly impact the movie's execution. This extends to other art mediums such as novels, which go through their array of editors and publishers, comic books, similar case though adding pencilers, inkers, colorists, letterers, publishers, etc., and of course animation. This lack of awareness towards other creatives and emphasis on the creator is what I like to call the creator bias, in which the resultant execution of an art production is credited only to the creator. This can be both praise and criticism. I found this bias to be somewhat damaging, as the reception of a production being geared towards solely the creator can disregard the other individuals who also contributed to a production's success. I do want to stress that the creator getting credit is not the problem, but rather the lack of credit towards the people who the creator worked with is. This can also vary depending on the project, marketing, behind the scenes information, etc. But on the more damaging side, this is exemplified by the huge lack of knowledge concerning Mickey Mouse co-creator Bob Iwerks. Chances are that you've never even heard of this man, but even greater chances are that you have heard of Walt Disney. Iwerks is a renowned figure in the animation industry, but the general public has no clue he even existed. Born in Kansas City on March 24, 1901, Bob Iwerks was a brilliant animator who was critical to the success of Walt's career from start to finish. While working at the Pesman Rubin Commercial Art Studio in 1919, Iwerks met a young ambitious artist who had just returned from World War I service in France with a strong entrepreneurial spirit. Walt and up complemented each other's skills, and their friendship would follow through in their endeavors throughout their careers. Bob teamed up with Walt and another animator named Les Clark to develop the earliest Mickey and Minnie Mouse drawings into the bulk of animating, backgrounds, and designing lobby posters for theaters screening the early Mickeys. His legendary pace allowed him to handle the heavy lifting, an astounding 700 drawings per day. Compare this to today's average animator, who churns out 80 to 100 drawings per week. With Les Clark and Wilfred Jackson, Iwerks animated the third produced but first released Mickey Mouse short, Steamboat Willie, and animated throughout the first year of Walt's Silly Symphonies. He left Disney in 1930 over creative differences, and returned 10 years later, in which he left animation and worked with his first love of cameras and special effects. One of his first inventions at Disney was the multi-head optical printer, successfully used in Song of the South and Melody of Time for combining live-action and animation. He developed the Xerox process of animation, which created cost-effective measures in the animation process by transferring drawings directly from an animator's pencil and paper to cells. It was primarily thanks to UB that Disney Studio reached the forefront in special photographic effects. His last work was the design of the film process for the Hall of Presidents at Walt Disney World, and he was posthumously honored with the Disney Legends Award in 1989. Iwerks is considered one of the greatest animation minds of all time, made his mark in both animation and motion picture technology, and helped appeal animation to a much wider audience. Now go out on the street and ask your average Joe who Walt Disney was, and they'll likely have some idea. But ask them who L.B. Brooks was, and you'll likely be met with no answer, despite all of his significant works to the development of Disney and animation in general. There are other factors for E. Brooks not being well known. Most people, at least in the US, generally just don't care enough about animation as an art form, as evidenced by the stigma surrounding it, especially with many mislabeling animation as a genre rather than a medium.
But E. Brooks being overlooked may also be a consequence of his own actions. He had pursued forming his own studio in the decade that he'd left Disney, a deal through Pat Powers, one of the co-founders of Universal Pictures, who had a complicated relationship with Walt Disney Studios. Up Studio folded in 1936, and by the time he returned, he'd missed Disney's period of greatest growth in animation, innovating in color and personality animation. His decision to work in the field of motion picture rather than continue in animation may also have veered attention away from himself, as Disney does, after all, specialize in animation. None of this is to imply that E. Brooks is the only overlooked Disney figurehead, let alone animation figure in general. I'm sure most people can't really even name one of the key animators from Walt Disney's inner circle of the 9 old men. If anything, it proves how the creator bias influences public perception regarding certain companies and production works, especially one like Disney. All creators should receive credit for their work, but they're still human. They can't do everything by themselves.